Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's live, where we've got our very special guest, Maciek Miloch, which I'm going to bring on in a second. Maciek was part of our colours campaign, in particular the green colour, which you'll see why in a second, where we feature different photographers tackling the various different subjects of colour. So let's bring Maciek on. Hi, Maciek. How are you doing?
Hello, David. I'm good. What about you?
Good, pretty good, thanks, pretty good. So today you're going to take us through an edit of one of your shots for the green campaign.
That's true.
Yeah, if there's time, we might do another one, but we'll see how it goes. Before we get to that, just for those of you watching as well, I'm going to roll like 60 seconds of a really nice BTS video that Maciek made of the shoot as well, where you can see how the various different shots were created. And then when we come back, Maciek, you can just give us a little bit of background story on the shoot as well. But first of all, here's the BTS. There we go. So that gives everyone an idea of what went into producing the shoot, which you can see was quite a lot. So maybe you can tell us a bit about the inspiration or just the story behind the photos for the campaign.
Well, like the main inspiration was definitely the color green, which was the subject of the campaign. And when you guys from Capture One reached out to me to create a campaign that is like based on my experiences of COVID-19 in the color green using product or food photography, I wanted to merge those two together and tell my story in a, like a little bit of funny, quirky way.
It's definitely quirky. I love the shots.
The greens actually that we used on the campaign are not, veggies, they are candies.
Yep.
Because of the, like huge amount of sweets that appeared in my life and comfort food during COVID-19. So this is like a funny portrayal of this.
Excellent. We've
experience.
definitely needed some comfort, that's for sure. Okay. I'm going to bring up your screen, Maciek, so we can see what's going on. Oh, if you just hide Skype, so we have that nice infinity thing going on. So this is one of the shots from the campaign, and this is as edited, isn't it? So this is like your final edit in Capture One, and we're going to go through that. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to create a variant. So we have like a blank canvas, and so we start with this file. Of course, this is like the wrong color temperature. So first thing that we're gonna do is to set up a color temperature that is like right, which is in here. So let's do the daylight. That gives us, like the base for the shot.
A good start point.
Yeah. Now it's time like to crop it. Because I have a, like extensive background as an art director, I usually have like some blank space around, like safe space for creating different formats. I usually have that in mind. So maybe like a little bit more on this side. Like probably this edit will not be like one-to-one from the original one.
It's almost impossible to match an edit day after day. I can never do it. So no pressure to make it exactly the same. That's for sure.
Yeah. And now this is a good starting point, and I think that it needs a little bit more of the brightness on the exposure. Oh, not maybe that much. Yeah, something like this. And then we have like like a very bright bit of paper, and we're gonna like put down the highlights to take it down. So we have like a nicer tones of whites already. And we may also like bring up a little bit of the shadows to give us a little bit more of the fill. I would go with something like that.
Great.
Yeah. Like this is very contrasty image already because it was lit with a very harsh light. So I'm not gonna bump contrast, I guess. It's good as it is, and maybe a little bit of the brightness to give it, like a little bit of the freshness. And now I'm gonna do stuff that I did in my original edit, that is like going through almost every bit of the picture and like tweaking it, the colors, to get, effect I have in mind. So for this one, I think this tabletop is a little bit like going into the blue tones, and I think it's a little bit odd. So to keep this cute retro vibe, we're gonna use my favorite tool, which is Color Editor Advanced tab, which allows me to pick a color and then change it. So let's see if like the range that is selected, it's like picking a little bit out of the clock. So we may like take this green part down like so. And then let's see, yeah.
And you do most of your editing in Capture One, right? I mean, I assume you do a little bit in Photoshop, but a lot of the color work you're doing in Capture One.
Yes, definitely. Like Photoshop is mostly for cleanup and maybe like the very final touch in colors when I like set all pictures like together and then adjust like brightness, for example. But most of the color work I usually do in Capture One.
Great.
So we have the color of the table, and now we can tweak the color of it and push it more to the green tones, which is already like giving us a nice effect of cohesive color palette. Let's see what we can do next. So in my like original edit, I also had like a little bit more of the saturation on the wall, like to be cohesive with the other shots from this campaign. So we may take a look on it now. Let's see the range, how it's looking. It's taking part of the candies and a candy typewriter. Otherwise, it's nice. It's a filled. So we may use the eraser tool to actually take out these parts that we're not gonna change. I'm not really, precise about it because I'm also like taking masking from the range I'm picking.
Exactly.
So I don't have to be like super precise. This is something that I like because I don't like to be precise.
Me neither.
It takes a lot of time and you have to be really patient. I'm not.
Exactly. And as you've got most of it selected with the color, this is just to, get out those last annoying things that you can't with the color editor.
So yeah, let's take out the candies. There we are. I'm pressing M to switch off the mask. And as we can see, it also like picks a little bit of the color of the envelope, which I'm gonna also erase. Yeah, so I think now we should be able to change just the color of the wall and give it a little bit more of the saturation.
Nice.
And I think it should be a touch warmer. So we're gonna like play with the hue. And I also like check the lightness. Yeah. We make a bit as it is right now for this moment. Another quite important thing of this picture is that right now, like the keyboard is not really visible. So I'm gonna create another mask. Maybe I should like actually like rename my name, my layers, just to be.
Yeah, as I say, always name your layers, but generally when you're doing it yourself, you don't tend to bother until you then wonder what on earth you just did. So
Yeah, I think it's nice because when you come back after like maybe like a day or two,
Yep.
you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
So I think like the area that is like behind the candies on the typewriter, it should be darker, like to make the candies pop out.
Right.
So I'm gonna do a new layer. This time I'm gonna do empty adjustment layer, and I'm gonna like quickly select. Yeah, less softness. Oh, it was like it was not a brush, it was an eraser.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm good. So I'm gonna select this area. Again, I'm not really careful about the candies because I don't have to be using this because I'm gonna combine this mask with advanced colored tab tool, so
Okay.
I don't have to be that precise.
No. Are you using
This is something I
the
love about this tool.
shift key to make straight lines?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a good tip, which not many people know, that you can shift click between different points with the brush tool, and then that will draw a straight line. So if you need to work along a straight edge like Maciek's doing, it's a big time saver, especially if you don't have a graphics tablet or a steady hand. Then it
Yeah.
makes life much easier.
And I'm again gonna use some magic and fill the mask.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna I'm drawing just the edges, and then Capture One is doing the rest of the work for me. Yeah. And yet again, I'm gonna like pick a color, maybe something like grayish, and let's see. Yeah, I think we may like extend a little bit more to have quite a broad spectrum actually for darkening. Like I think it will be enough. That's probably even. And now I'm gonna zoom out so we can see like the whole effect on the whole picture.
Great.
And as I'm taking it down, the area is darkening. So I think it like helps out like to tell the story better because the keyboard stand out from the picture.
Definitely.
So
it makes a big difference actually.
Yeah, it's like the typewriter is the hero of the shot.
Yeah.
So I think it should have like this extra emphasis on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Another thing is this ball was actually like orange color that's like similar to the phone, but due to the fact it's like transparent, it lost its color because it picked up so much of the green.
Right.
So let's do the ball. Empty layer.
One very large brush.
Yeah. This time, yes. Yeah, actually I can like make a very big brush and just like click.
One click should do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So on this one, we may like again use the advanced color tool, or actually we can go to color balance and then try to push the midtones and add a little bit, yeah, and add a little bit of the orange there. So it actually like makes a huge change. It's it's like more cohesive story with this figure, then the telephone, and then the ball. It's all like similar tone. And like we also lost some of the saturation on the phone,
right,
because it picks up the color of the table surface, which is blue. So I'm gonna do another layer. And then like quickly select the telephone. So let's go to color editor, advanced, and then pick color range and see what's selected and what's not. Yeah, it's like the whole receiver is selected. So we may now add a little bit more of the saturation. Oh, maybe not that much. A little bit of the saturation. And maybe just a little bit of the lightness. Yeah. As I'm looking at the picture now, like the typewriter is a little bit bright. So we may also like use this tool to select some beige color and then take lightness down.
Where did you find all the pieces? Is this things you had at home, or?
Yeah, like some of the pieces are actually stuff that we have at home. Of course, typewriter, I had to buy some secondhand.
Right.
And we need to like glue the keys to it, which was fun.
I can
required
imagine.
a lot of patience.
Yes.
But basically most of the stuff is something that I already had at home, or the set designer Zuza, who worked with me on the series, had
Right.
at home, or something that we had like after some like previous photo shoots. Because at the time we were like creating this story, that we had like a partial lockdown in Poland, so we couldn't like freely go to the stores and do some shopping of the props
Right.
that we wanted.
So you had to improvise.
Yes. But I think like the effect is cool because like sometimes you can like put the things you have at home and then like arrange it and give it to it another context.
Definitely.
So another thing is this candies on the top. they have like a slightly different color. So I think I will try to select them, make a mask, and then put the color like as close as to the candies that are on the bottom. Oh, I need to do another layer. Empty mask, candies. This time I think I should be like a little bit more precise about it.
Occasionally it's necessary, yeah.
Yeah. And because I don't want to pick like the candies that I'm like color matching to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we have them selected on a layer. So what we can do is, like first of all, we had a candy that is like really, really bright. So we can like actually like take down the highlights.
Okay.
And then we would have to probably use my favorite tool, again, color editor.
It's definitely a tool that features a lot in this series. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and now we can see like pushes to more colder tones, but we're gonna like push it to actually warmer. It already like starts to looking like similar to the candies that are on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the lightness. Yeah, actually we may like, oh, not that much. A little bit of the lightness down. Yeah. And it's like more similar to the candies on the bottom.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think this is it for this image. I actually like maybe one more thing.
Okay.
We're gonna like work on the keyboard because it's quite pale on this one, and in my original it has like more color.
Yeah.
So let's take care of it. So again, we're gonna do empty layer. We're gonna do like a very rough mask because like these keys are not surrounded by any other green tones. And again, advanced color edit tool. And let's bump up the saturation and maybe the lightness a little bit down. The saturation is a little bit too much, so I'm gonna yeah. So this is like
That looks better. Yep.
yes, exactly.
Got a question from Poncho. He says, do you try to match the color with lightness? So I'm not entirely sure what you mean there, Poncho. You can always expand. But I guess my interpretation is that you're using the density to pull the colors closer together as well, or to be more consistent, I would say. Or I guess you're using the I guess the whole point of using the layers with the masks and the color editor, like for this project, was to pull all the colors into something that was more common or consistent, I guess, between each other.
Yeah, exactly. But you can also always like use the tool like to like darken or brighten like certain areas. We may like try, for example, like to darken a little bit the desk can be like a touch darker. So yeah, we are able like to do it with this tool.
Yeah, without having to do complicated masking or cutting paths or any of those things, which often we forget. That is, if you can isolate the color, then you can do all kinds of color work with it for sure.
Exactly.
Shall we see a before and after? I'll just hide us so that we can see everything. So it's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, before it's really dramatic because it's like like the wrong
the white
color
balance.
temperature.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like better like to clone this variant.
Okay.
And I'm gonna like delete or disable all of the changes that we've made.
Yeah.
So we'll have like a
clean slate. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like this on the background layer, like the very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a huge difference.
Yeah. And what's interesting for me is that you did that pretty quickly as well. It's like if you saw the before and after, so the right hand side before editing and the one on the left, like to me, because I looked at the raw files as well, I was like, wow, that's you've done a bunch of stuff to a lot of edits to this photo. That must have taken you a long time, but that high quality output was, well, we've done probably 20-25 minutes, which is pretty speedy.
Yeah, like this is why I love the like color editor advanced.
Yeah.
Because it lets you make like the selections very quickly. You don't have to be so precise about like making your mask very carefully, but you can be very quick with the edits.
Yeah. Another question Poncho was asking. Have you ever been asked to make a specific Pantone color for a campaign? Could we do that with the color editor? I guess you could with the color editor. I haven't tried it myself. Have you ever had to do anything specific like that?
Yes. And maybe I'll like pop up to the web and maybe I will look for green Pantone. So yeah, let's maybe like take this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually like close to the color of the wall.
Yeah.
So you can do in composition tool, there is this image overlay, and we're gonna take this Pantone, put the opacity to 100.
Nice.
So we have like a color reference and be very precise about it. We of course may scale it down.
You know what? I'd never thought of using the overlay tool like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we may be able to try to put as close as we can. We need to work on the lightness. Of course, there is a gradient, so we'll probably won't be able to even it out so much.
Yeah.
But it's it's quite I don't think we have time for it, but this is what I do.
Yeah.
I pick the Pantone, put it on the overlay, and then I have a reference on my screen.
Jim says, "Oh wow, genius!" Yeah, it's really a great use of the overlay tool, because I guess even with a few different swatches, you can alternate between the different swatches up on screen and then see what the consistency is like and the matching. So that's a great use of the overlay tool. Fantastic. Or even I guess if you had a mood color palette, like with several swatches, you could create that as an overlay as well, and to get the color story going on. Yeah,
and you can have it handy, to turn it on and off.
Yeah, it's no problem.
And to see where it sits in the general mood of the picture.
Yeah, that's a super nice idea. Absolutely. That's good, because I've got to do a webinar on the overlay tool in a few weeks. So that's an additional thing that we can talk about for use for it as well.
Yeah, it's a very forgotten tool, I guess, because it's not on the default anymore on Capture One. It used to be.
Yeah.
It's also like very useful when you work with agencies or magazines, because you can like pop all of the text.
Yeah.
And compose it.
Yeah, because
so it's like very useful.
It was originally designed really just for that purpose, to have your magazine cover layout or double page spread or packaging box or something like that. But that's a great additional use of it. So yeah, Anthony says I use the overlay to make Christmas cards. There you go. So that's another different use for it. Ponchu says that's great. We can eliminate the spectrodensitometer in the printing area. Yeah, as long as you have a good screen match. Like, I guess if you wanted the mathematical numbers perfect, then you would have to go down a different route. But if, using that method, you could get pretty close to your Pantone patch for sure. Great, so there we go. That was perfect. That was exactly 30 minutes to run through that edit. Actually, I've got your, let's just bring this up on screen. So we've got your Instagram account just below you, so people can easily find you at miloch.com or _com. And are you elsewhere on any other social media? Can we find you anywhere else, or Instagram's your main outlet?
I use mainly Instagram and my website portfolio, of course.
And your website portfolio. Perfect. So yeah, do check out Maciek yourselves. And thanks for joining us today. Just a last nice comment from Jerome. He says, let's move that down there. Jerome says, very instructive. Thanks, Maciek and David. So a pleasure. So thanks again for joining us, Maciek, and everybody else. We've still got our competition running until February 21st. So if you want to create a visual story inspired by Maciek, based on using the color green, then you can share your image using the hashtag #CaptureColors. So I'll just actually put up our little comment underneath so you can see it. So plenty of inspiration. And Maciek, you did Ask Me Anything on our Instagram today, which was really fantastic. So please everybody go and check out our Instagram channel and read what Maciek said in response to everyone too. So thanks again, Maciek. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you.
See you all again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.